Hi there and welcome back to another video. Now you may be able to hear a bit of wind noise in the background, so I do apologise for that. It's quite windy outside. But anyways, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at making a scene on the layout. Now you all saw this Spitfire in a previous layout update. I'll leave a link to that up in the corner there. And today in this video we're going to be starting to make a scene for it. So what scene actually is going to be, it's going to be a nice kind of park around it basically. So maybe I'll have like either gravel or concrete underneath it, and then I'll put like a nice hedge around it and some of these decals that came with it, so I'll make up a thing for those. So yeah, it's going to be a nice little scene. So yeah, if you guys got any questions, then please let me know. Okay, so I've got the Spitfire in position now, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a marker and draw around it where the perimeter of the hedging is going to be. So there we go, there's our perimeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip up the grass that's here, and I'm also going to rip up some more to make like a path. So there we go, there's our path that we're going to make, and I'm going to rip all this up. And then I'm either going to put gravel or concrete down. I haven't decided yet, but I'll rip this up, and when I'm doing that, I'll decide. Okay, so there you can see I've cleared the area. Now, it's not exactly the smoothest thing in the world, but that's okay. And all I did was I just sprayed a bit of water over it, let it soak in, and I used a flat blade screwdriver to chisel it up basically. Now keep in mind, you can use a chisel too. So if we get our Spitfire, that's going to go in there like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to paint it, and whilst I've been doing all the chiseling and everything, I've decided that I'm going to gravel it, because I've already put gravel over here. The road down there is all gravel, so it just makes sense to make this gravel. So I think it will look pretty good with gravel. So yeah, I'm going to give it a bit of paint, this stuff here. And you can use any paint that you want. Only reason why I'm using that is because, well, I've got that to hand anyway. So yeah, I'm going to paint that, let it dry, and then I'll put the gravel on. Okay, so there's the surface all painted, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry. And then once it's dry, we can apply the gravel to the surface here. So I will see you when that's all dry. Okay, so it's a few hours later and the paint is all dry. So it's now time to apply the ballast for the gravel path. And this is the ballast I'm using. It's the same ballast that I used for the path up there and also the road where the houses are. So that's just what I have to hand. And it's this one here, fine ballast, grey blend. And I'm going to apply it in my usual method. Spread some PVA, spread the ballast on top, let it dry overnight, and come back the following day, hoover off the excess and put it back into the container. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so all I need to do now is leave that for 24 hours and then I'll come back. Ballast is now nice and dry, so let's get ready to hoover it up. Okay, so there's the ballast all sucked up, and I do need to touch up in a few places, but I can do that later. Now it might look a little bit messy because there was still a bit of static grass underneath, so that's why it looks a bit messy, but I might put a roof over the top. I'm not too sure about that, so I'll have a think about it. But yeah, it's turning out to look pretty good so far. So now what I need to do is I need to work on the edges of it, make that look all nice. Okay, so I need to rip up a bit more grass, and I'm just going to use this, put that there, that way when I do all my spraying I don't get it all over the ballast. And I'm just going to use a flat blade screwdriver, just going to start chiseling away at it, just like the same way as I did for the ballast, so let's get on with that. Okay, so there we go, I've ripped up some of the grass that's around the ballast. Now, as I was doing all the ripping up and everything, I accidentally ripped up some of the ballast on the edge. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put another layer of ballast on top of there, and then when I go to glue it down, I'll glue it down the same way as I glued the ballast down to the track. So put the ballast on top, use PVA, glue and water mix to hold it on. And of course, one reason why I ripped up grass on the edge is because I got some of this sifted dirt here that I'm going to put around it to make it look like a garden bed, and I'm going to make some hedges as well to go around there, which should look pretty nice. So let's get on to that. Okay, so that's already looking a lot better now, so I'll let that dry overnight and then I'll come back the following morning and continue on with it. And what's actually going to be going on the dirt sections are hedges, so what you see in the corner here. However, they're not going to be as bushy as this, they're going to be well kept hedges like what I've got in the back gardens of the houses. And I have actually done a video on making hedges, and I'll leave the link to that up in the corner there. So yeah, I'll see you when this is all dry. Okay, so it's now the following day since the previous clip, and unfortunately the glue that I put down is still not dry due to the garage being a little bit cold. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on a sign. So I've got some of these decals here which were left over from when I actually built the Spitfire, so we can use those on the sign. And I've got some of this tube stuff here, and unfortunately I don't have any plain white sheet, but I've got some of this corrugated stuff here, metal siding, so I suppose I can use that. And then I'm going to paint it up using some of this Tamiya spray paint to give it a nice wood look. So yeah, let's get on with making the sign. Okay, so there we go, that's the sign made up, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So what we'll do is we'll let that dry, and then we'll give it a spray of this Tamiya spray paint. So I will see you when this is all dry. Okay, so there it is, and I've left that for about 15 or so minutes to dry. So it's now nice and dry, so let's take it outside and give it spray this paint. So let's get on to that now. Okay, so we're outside here in the garden. Now it is a little bit windy out here, so I'm going to try to do this spraying as quick as I can. And yes, that's a train in the background, by the way. So yeah, remember when you do any kind of spraying, always wear a face mask. So I've got one here. And also when you do your spraying, make sure you do it in a well ventilated room or outside if possible. So let's get on with some spraying. And just like that, it's all sprayed up. So we'll let that dry and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've now given the sign plenty of time to dry, and I've printed out some Spitfire facts, and I've got these decals here, so I'll put those on as well. So this is the control panel, and then this is the name of the actual aeroplane. So yeah, I'm going to apply the decals. I'm going to do a step by step on how to do that, and then of course I'll just glue these on as normal. So let's get on with putting the decals on. Okay, so what you're going to need to apply decals or transfers, you're going to need a container with some water, the decals obviously, and either scissors or a knife, but obviously not one like this. You probably want a knife like this one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to first off get into shot there, cut that. Where did that other decal go? Here you are. So we've got our two decals, so we're going to start off with the control panel. So get our water, pop you in there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to wait for about 15 or 20 seconds, or until we can see that starting to come off. And I'll put the other one on, the other one in as well. That way we're not waiting too long. and then you're going to need some tweezers wherever they are. Here they are. And we're going to be applying the decals to the flat side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the control panels up here, and then the name down here, and then these two will be applied here and here. So that's the plan. So I think I've left the control panel in there for long enough. It's been about 20 seconds now. So we're going to take our tweezers. If I can, there we are. Do that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these sticks, and we're just going to move if the decal will want to come off. I think I need to put it back in there for a little bit longer. Sometimes the decal may need a bit more, and also make sure you're applying the decal to a wet surface too. However, meanwhile, what I can do is I can apply the name, because that's been in there for long enough. And the decal just broke, unfortunately, so yep, that decal's broken, can't use that anymore. That's a bit of a shame. So, but we'll put the control panel one on now. There we go. Now there is a lot of water, so let's take a cotton bud and just soak up some of that water. And once you've got it into position, then dry it off. And unfortunately, it's also ripped a little bit, but that's okay. Gives it a bit of character, I suppose you could say. Oops. Yeah, oh, now that's ripped as well. Man. Oh well, we can still use it. So there we go. That's how you apply decals, so I'm going to keep on going at that until it's set. Okay, so unfortunately the decals wouldn't set, so I ended up just putting these on, which I think will be more than sufficient enough. So now that that's dry, what I'll do is I will just give it a quick sealing of matte varnish, and then we'll stick it on the layout. Okay, so the sign is now dry, so I'm going to put the sign here. So I'm just going to punch a hole in the corner here. That way I can put the long leg through, and then I'll put a dab of glue under there. So let's get on with it. Okay, so there we go. That's the sign in place. Pretty happy with how that looks. So I still need to wait for the gravel and the dirt to dry before I can do the hedging. So I'm going to wait for that to dry, then I'll start the hedging. Okay, so I'm now ready to start the hedges. Now what I've done is I've cut up some kitchen scourers. You can get them in a pack like this. I got these for 60 cents at Coles. So yeah, they're nice and cheap, and that's basically what I'm going to use. And then to cover them, I've got some wooden scenics blended turf, green blend. Depending on what type of bush you're creating will depend on what turf you cover them in. Because I'm modelling a nice neat hedge, I'm going to use this stuff here. If you're modelling a kind of overgrown hedge, then coarse turf will look pretty good. And then to seal this in, you can either use PVA or spray adhesive. I'm going to use spray adhesive because it's less messy and it's just a quicker process basically. So yeah, I'm not going to bother showing how to make them in this video, as I have done a video on how I've made them. I'll leave a link to that up in the corner so you can go see that. So I'm going to make these hedges and then I'll put you back on. Okay, so there we go, there's the hedges all done and they look pretty good. So I'll let those dry and then we'll put them on the layout. So I'll see you when these are all dry. Okay, so with the hedges now nice and dry, it's now time to put them on the layout. There we go. I'm going to let those all dry now, and then when they're dry I can put the Spitfire on. So that should be pretty fun, so I'll see you when this is all dry. Okay, so I wasn't actually going to do this, but I got some of these knock flowers here left over from when I did the gardens of the houses. So where the dirt areas are here and also around the sign, I'm just going to put some of these knock flowers on there because I think they'll really set the scene quite nicely. So let's get on to that. I will be honest, I wasn't going to add these, but once I added these really do make one hell of a difference. I think it looks really, really good with these on there. So, as I said earlier, I'll let this all dry and then we can put the Spitfire in its final resting position. Okay, so there we go, there's the scene complete. Now, of course, I will leave links in the description to the products used in this video, and that way you can get them yourself. So yeah, that's this scene now complete. I was thinking of doing an overall roof, but I'm not really going to bother with that anymore. So yeah, that's the scene complete, which is really nice to see. So I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments what you think, and hopefully this has inspired you to do something similar. So yeah, as I say, links to products will be in the description. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone.